first drunk of our life. And we needed a designated driver, and we had contracted Dennis McIntosh for that. he had the little 62 Ford Fairlane, little maroon colored car, you probably remember it. And he drove us around town, and...
Excuse me, Dennis, are we good on the statute of limitations?
Yeah.
So Dennis was driving around, and Rick and I, since this was going to be our first coordinated drunk, we wanted to try a variety of different types of alcohol that we knew people drank. So we had cherry sloe gin, we had beer, we had whiskey, and Dennis was driving us around. This was at the time where we were working at radio station KSMO, if you might remember that. We had another guy in the car who was an announcer for KSMO. So we were drinking, and Rick got sick. And he was sitting in the back seat of the car, and it just happened that the window, the crank on the window wouldn't work. Rick couldn't roll the window down. So he got sick in the car, and it was really bad scene. Yeah, it was New Year's Eve, and the temperature was down around 0 degrees, and it was freezing cold outside. So we had this problem. Rick smelled so bad, and so did Dennis's car, and everything looked red.
He had a tuna Santa.
Yeah. He had tuna sandwich before, so at the time, we went over the hill on 19 South, and there was a little car wash right there. So Dennis pulled in there at the car wash, and we decided to clean Rick up. So I had a few quarters in my pocket. We got Rick out, and we held him up against the wall. And I put in a quarter, turned it on the stove, and we sprayed it on. I flipped it on Rick, and we sprayed it on. And he was clean. But he was stiff. So we thought, well, this has been quite an evening, so it's time to go home. And we said, Dennis, take us home. And Dennis said, okay, he's going to take Rick first. So we took Rick home, and his mom and dad lived over here on the east side of Salem. And we let Rick out. He made it to the door. And we think, okay, he's going to be okay. So we drove off. But what happened afterwards was Rick thought it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I did too. So he didn't want his parents to see his wet clothes. So he stripped off naked out there, outside on the porch outside. So he went into his house completely naked, and come to find out it was only 9 o'clock. His mom and dad were watching television. His sister started crying.
We probably should have talked about this.
Before Dennis got me home, Rick's mother had called my mother to see if we'd been on drugs or something. And the last I remember about that night was I slept in the bathtub when I got home. But I thought that was the end of the story until just a few moments ago. So, what happened was, Rick lost so much cherry vodka, it was like 2 inches deep in the back of Dennis's car, and it froze.
Well, actually, what we did, we also used the car wash wand to try to clean out the tuna fish and the water.
Yeah, the water from the car wash was in the car.
Just like that.
Yeah, it froze instantly, and it was like 2 inches deep or so. Well, the next day, Dennis and his father were going to go hunting, and they came up to the car, and Dennis's dad goes, "What is this smell?" was in the car the night before, but he said it took, weeks for that to dry, it took melt, because it was frozen, and finally get the car cleaned out. So that's the rest of the story that I never knew.
If you have any more stories about me, see me first.
Okay, well, I'm going to start putting on some old music here shortly, and I hope you enjoy it, and have a good time. Talk over old times. And if you have any cherry vodka, Thank you all again for coming out. I hope you enjoyed the food. The food is going to be here till you quit going to the table. So when you quit eating, they'll pack it off. But you can go back for seconds as many times as you want. Okay?
Thank you.
Have a good time.
Thanks, Rick.
Let's just do another drawing here real quick. 256.
Last